Hey, so the question was, I repeatedly lose jobs, and even though I have a high IQ, etc., etc., I always tell the same story. It's kind of like a broader, overarching story, so you can kind of put your own thing in there, but it has to do with subconscious programming between the ages of 2 and 8 years old. So I read about this first. Actually, I listened to it on a CD that I got from a really nice lady that used to live across the road from me, who is now a really good friend of mine. And it was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And a guy came to the dude that wrote Secrets of the Millionaire Mind with a problem. And the thing was, he could make tons and tons of money, like millions, and then he'd lose it all. And it happened in cycles. Rather like the person in the question saying they get the job, do up, and then do something to shoot themselves in the foot. It's actually a psychological problem in many cases. So, or emotional and psychological problem. So the example that the author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind used was this guy came in and he said, look, I make all this money and then I just lose it. So I can always make millions and then it's gone. And the guy said, let's go back to your childhood. And the guy was like, what does this have to do with any of that? And he said, just bear with me and let's go back to your childhood. Describe your family life and everything. And what they traced it back to was what he watched between 2 years old to 8 years old and is now repeating. So the guy in question, his father was a huge building guy, like big contracts, government stuff, massive, huge building things. So they'd go from living at the Hilton or big huge mansion, probably in one of the complexes that they build, living high on the hog, and then along would come the next building project, and they'd be living in a trailer on the freaking job site, eating cans of tuna because the guy had invested everything that he had into it. So they went through these big cycles of rich, poor, rich, poor. And so once the guy realized that, he was like, holy. So they did a little bit more therapy of whatever kind that was, and hey presto, he went off and made lots of money and kept it. So if you go back and look at 2 years old to 8 years old and see what you watched, one is could be both your parents, but it's more than likely the one parent that you watch the most, and you could be copying that cycle. That's just one thing that it could be. So that's something to think about. But many times we repeat things in our life in cycles, and it sounds like you're in one. So that's one avenue that you could start looking at, and that's useful for anybody anyway. Because a lot of times as adults, we are doing things that used to serve us when we were little to keep us safe. And now when we're 30 or 40 or in our 20s or whatever, it doesn't work anymore. So that's my answer to that one. Hope you enjoyed it.